Here we go. Stream is live.
We are live.
Right. Thank you, Paul Long. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we bring you another episode of The Three Amigos, live from Essex, East Sussex, Sunderland. Is it Sunderland?
No, it's Middlesbrough, but close enough.
Tell me this, right? I've never nailed this. Are you a Sunderland or Middlesbrough fan?
So, wash your mouth out, son. I'm a Mackham.
So you must have enjoyed Newcastle winning that cup for the first time in 70 years, which I've got to be honest, I did.
That was crap.
I'm not Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the North East is such a diverse place. You've got the Geordies, Sunderland, about 10, 12 miles further south, you've got the Mackhams. Then you've got us, effectively, we're like from the collieries, the pit yak as we get called, but we tend to be a mixture of
You're not Teessiders, no?
No, Teessiders is Middlesbrough. So then you go a little bit further south again, you've got Hartlepool, the Monkey Hangers.
I've heard this story, it's a brilliant story, love it.
Amazing. A bit further south, you've got Smoggies or Teessiders. So they get called Smoggies. So when you go into the smog from the old ICI building. But from top to finish, you've only got, it's only 45, 50 mile, maybe 60 at a push. And the diverse dialects and the way you talk. Put it one way, I was telling this tale the other week. When I first met Gemma, took her out for a nice slap up meal at the pictures and whatnot. And I said, "Oh, do you want some, you got the sweet counter?" A nickname for sweets where I'm from is Ket. So I said, "Do you want some Ket?" Ket, where she's from, is a drug. So she's like looking at me going, "What did you say?" I went, "Ket, do you want some Ket?" So again, and we're only 15, 16 miles away. So the words, slang, colloquialisms.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway.
See, what other industry podcast or whatever this thing is would teach you regional dialects and slang? None. They're
exactly.
talking about data, aren't they?
And boring rubbish.
Yeah. So who's going to kick off? I'm not going to kick off because I did the intro and I've got to make some stuff up. No, I'm prepared. I told you. Paul Long, over to you.
So I wanted to talk about a couple of things. One of the things was I saw a really interesting report this week from Hootsuite. Do you ever use Hootsuite?
Yeah, seen it.
Yeah. They came out with their social media trends for 2025 and 2024. And they said that you need to be posting around 48 to 72 posts a week as a brand.
Wow.
Yeah, week now to really sort of be seen and to get to the maximum level. That's across all platforms, but I thought that was quite frightening when you look at those numbers. Yeah, 48 to 70 odd posts a week. So I think the question was for most is how that content is created and also is it something that agents can do, or I think the obvious answer is
I would think that's impossible.
Yeah.
And I would think the quality would be dire.
Yeah.
Really to try and push it and go for such quantity. Yeah. I think with that, this is really interesting because I think agents need that OST thing to think about that objective strategy and tactics.
Yeah.
Now, we advise ours is try and get people on your database or in your WhatsApp group. Doing what's like the best performing thing that we do are WhatsApp groups. And the tactics to do that would be get your stuff out on social media, but always try and get them back to get that digital fingerprint, that email address that means you can market to them directly rather than hoping they might see you on social media. But one thing I think should be banned, and I'm not sure if you lot do it, and if you two do it, I think you should both be banned. When people tag everyone.
Oh.
Everyone.
But we spoke about this.
I think it's happening more and more though. I get something. Oh, I've been tagged in something. This might be interesting.
There's two. I'm not going to name any names. There's two people that do it. Thankfully, not to me. One used to do it to me until I called him out, saying, "Look, I'm sure you're a lovely bloke, but I don't know you. I've never met you. Will you stop tagging us and shit?" but there's 2 people do it. Like just gone to the toilet, tagged in 40 people. Just had a bagel from a breakfast, tagged in 50 people. No one cares, mate. Jog on. Like it's not for that.
It's so lazy.
Yeah.
It's like, you know where I think the laziest marketing is? On LinkedIn.
Oh,
I get, and you lot must get it. I get people sending me messages saying that it's these sort of like, it's not EXP, but it's like brands like that are trying to, you know, recruit you. Hi, we think you'd be a great fit for our partner. Mate, I'm not an estate agent. Do you know what I mean? I actually went to one guy and said, that's really interesting. What makes you think that I could be a really good, do you know what I mean? And he just come back and said, he's obviously then checked. This spray and pray, make people feel special. In an age of automation, become even more human, and you're going to be all right.
Totally agree. Do you not think it's funny though that everybody's something has reminded them of a story? So the amount of people, I was walking on my way to shops, and it just reminded me that caring about your team is really important. And another guy's, I was just on the toilet for 3 hours, and just reminded us that everyone's got a struggle in life, but so long as you persevere, you can get it out in the end. It's like everyone's got a story about something. This reminded me of that, and this reminded me of that. Bollocks. Did it crap. You literally just want to use that as a fake opener to try and get on LinkedIn to try and make you feel more relevant. Bore off.
Come on, Paul, you have a moan up as well. Let's moan. Great.
It's true though, isn't it? Like it's true. Everyone's got a little story. In fact, I'm going to share it, but I bet you, in fact, do you know what? While you're talking, I'm going to see if I can open my LinkedIn and see within 30 seconds, I can find an exact exact story that fits that natural description.
You know, one thing I have noticed more and more, I don't know if it's because my radar's up for it, is how ill thought out a lot of content on LinkedIn especially is. It is just all about, not all, but a lot of it's just about the agency. Like, if there's nothing in it for the reader, it's like, we've done this deal, or we've done that deal. If you're not engaged with them, that's not going to make you engage anymore. They've kind of forgotten, a lot of agents I think have forgotten that content needs to be helpful, interesting, and trustworthy.
Yeah.
To someone that's not to another audience, not to other agents. You don't want people to go watch one of your videos and go, you legend. Oh, wow. So many legends. And it's just nonsense.
Found one already.
There you go. And that was about 40 seconds.
It says Jerry Lyons posted 6 minutes ago.
So this one is about like
coming out of the toilet, and it made me think.
This one's about having a work-life balance and dropping your kids off at school and all that crap. But
I can guarantee, we're not guarantee, but I'd risk a bet. Is that someone trying to get you to be a self-employed agent somewhere?
Oh yeah.
Is it really? Because I can't see what you said.
No, he doesn't work for them. He's a mortgage chap, so he might be trying to recruit from them. But it's just more like, what do you think? And this reminds me of a funny story. And as I was dropping my kid off at school, then it reminded me this, and it's just one of them ones. But LinkedIn's a funny place. It's very predictable. LinkedIn, very predictable. There's not as much
platform.
Yeah, we only hang out there because that's where a lot of agency bosses do. I find Instagram fun. I find it fun, and I quite like Facebook. Quite like it. Instagram's preferable, but you've got to knock about where your clients are, haven't you? If you want, from a sales and marketing perspective, you've got to effectively put what you feel like to one side, and if you're in a business, you've got to try and track your clients.
But that's interesting. This is interesting, right? Because I don't like any of the platforms anymore.
Yeah,
I'm really bit. I'm not interested, man. WhatsApp's the one I like, but then I know people on WhatsApp, but obviously we've got to be on it. And an agent said to me, he doesn't like it. What should he do? Just delegate it. What we do. Carmen, our VA, just she does all of that stuff.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I get, if you're trying to build a real personal brand as an agent, you're going to have to jump on it. And some people love it, don't they? I mean, Paul, you must come across people that absolutely love a bit of Facebook.
Facebook and Instagram. I think the problem is a lot of people shy away from, like you said, the personal branding, where they're not just all property business. So that's the biggest thing, where they show a bit behind the scenes and a bit about who they are. And for Instagram, that's the thing that makes it work best when they do allow people to relate to them. But so many people don't like that. You know, they just don't like showing what they do in their private time or what they're doing behind the scenes. But it's funny, actually, going back to the type of content, literally in the last 6 to 12 months, it's all reverting back to the real stuff. When I say real, I mean like genuine, real stuff.
Raw.
Yeah, raw, exactly. So anything polished now is getting a big drop in, which it was anyway, but anything polished because of the AI and because of the fact that you say there's so much fake stuff out there where people are just chucking stuff on. If someone's in their car or if someone's walking down the street and it is a bit shaky, that's the stuff that's doing well because people give it a few seconds to see what it's about.
You know what? You know those in-car driving videos?
Oh,
they should definitely be banned. We should do a room. Let's do a little room 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just go totally off script because we didn't have a script, people. Let's be honest, we don't know what we're doing. Can I go first in 101?
Yeah.
It's the estate agent or any person driving along, talking to camera as if we really care that you might hit a child, because you're not paying attention. What do we care? We don't need a property market update. We need little Jimmy to get to school safely without you knocking him over on his zebra crossing in the mark. You know what I mean? So there's my 101. Over to you guys.
What's your 101, Paul? Have you got one? I've got loads.
Go on, you fire some of yours off. Yeah, fire some of yours off.
Agents who book in to do a demo, and then don't turn up. It's absolutely cool. Beyond belief. And I totally get why this industry is fucked. Because if you're an estate agent and you can't even turn up to a bloody demo that you booked, right? That's a nightmare.
And you get 3 reminders.
You're sorry?
You get 3 reminders as well.
You get reminders. You get this, looking forward to seeing you, blah blah blah, and then you don't turn up.
It's so poor, isn't it? It's so poor.
Yeah, really, really, really bad. And you can understand. It's not until, you both sit on the same side of the fence. Paul's on both sides still, but me and you, Jerry, we sit on like the supplier side, and you can understand why there is a perception. First of all, I've got to preface this: there are some absolutely fantastic agents, some lovely people, and even shit agents can be lovely people, but they're shit for a reason. I know some really, really not really crap agents, but agents who you wouldn't class as a good agent, but they're really nice people, and I bump into them at events and have a drink and a pint and a laugh and stuff. But if you are going to sell houses, at least turn up when you said you will. It's just basic. How you do little things is how you do everything.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about this, weren't we, before we came on air, about how there's already in America, what I'm seeing is there's already websites and companies setting up to try and get AI to do as much as possible that the real estate agents are doing, and just passing the bits over which they can't do, such as viewings and things like that. So I think there's a real need to make sure that our service levels are actually increasing all the time, because the simple things are going to be dealt with eventually by AI, and we've got to make sure that personal service and efficiency is as high as possible. Well,
Jerry said something earlier on, in a world of AI, be more human. So it's a bit be more kind, isn't it? Be kind, it's a bit be more human. And I think, everyone's jumping on the AI voice agents bandwagon. We're researching this quite heavily at the minute.
Well, what's this? Can you explain this to me? Because I'm not on social media.
Yeah. So an AI voice agent, basically like a robot. There's loads of like libraries out there that you can effectively say, I want this type of voice to sound in this accent, man or woman, to speak like, I was listening to one yesterday, they can talk like a surfer dude, like, hey dude, like a stoner, and they will answer calls, they'll make calls, they'll do whatever. But the latency, as in like the speed that it responds after you've asked it a question, is really, really, really low. It's slow at the minute. We are doing a lot of research on this, and anyone who's got one we've listened to, we would personally, as of today, not feel comfortable pushing that out as a product. Not because it's just very slow. And I know there are companies that are doing it, and fair play to them. I'm not criticizing it. It's completely their prerogative and stuff. And some reasons I know why they've done it. Others, I just think they want to be first to market, and that's never a good thing a lot of the time. So, but when we do it, we've drawn a quadrant, right? So it's very like low importance, low urgency, high importance, high urgency. And what we've said is the low urgent, low important stuff. What are the things that we want an AI voice agent to do? An AI, like I said, an AI voice agent is a very clever, prompted, scripted bit of tech that will answer it as if it's from your company. So things like, receiving basic bookings or very low level repair calls, or confirming viewings, or asking for feedback, or asking for a Google review, whatever it is, those ones. And to Paul's point, and my point I made on, those will turn up every day. So, when you haven't turned up for a viewing or evaluation, or you forgot to call people back, or you forgot to ask for this, that's where AI voice agents in 99% of circumstances will have the march on you. They're just not going to be good enough to negotiate a deal. They're not going to be good enough to, try and extract emotional response, because they're not empathetic. They're not sympathetic. I listened to one the other day, and it was a video, and the guy had said, yeah, my husband's just died, and the AI voice agent went, oh dear, I bet that can be really, really upsetting for you. So about this XYZ, do you want to do it? It was more patronizing and condescending than anything else.
Oh gosh.
So it's not there yet. It's
not
we've
yet.
got to use it, but just use it in the right way.
It's like, when it gets there, will people still? You think it's a big deal selling your house? Yeah. It's like, I was listening. There's a really good podcast called the Prof G podcast. Right. His name's Galloway something. I can't think of his first name. It escapes me. Prof G, Professor Galloway. American guy, very switched on, multi-millionaire, but he's got some really interesting ideas. And he gets asked questions, and one of the questions was, it was a financial advisor saying about AI, and worried that AI would take my job. And he basically come up with that line, AI won't take your job. Someone who knows how to do AI will take your job. What you need to do is use it to get you so far along the line that when you're in front of a client,
you've won.
It's done all the sort of rubbish work, the boring work for you.
Yeah. Totally
you can be, because investing with your financial investing is so emotive, and so would you risk selling your house based on the advice from a robot? The robot could be brilliant, right? I don't know about you. I still want to see the whites of my estate agent's eyes when he's telling me about the offers, or when she's ringing me up to discuss the offers, rather than it all being robotic.
I agree. I think it's a two-way thing, because I don't think the tech's quite there yet, and I don't think the UK culture is there yet. So when the tech gets better in our kids and our kids' kids' generation, in 30, 40 years, that might be a thing. But at the minute, it's not. And I don't think it's going to be for another 3, 4, 5 years, regardless how good that is. I think some people, and by the way, there's legislation going through the House of Lords at the minute that's adding on current communication legislation. The AI legislation, obviously, you're going to have to declare that you're speaking to a voice agent, robot, whatever you want to call it. And at that point, so you've got to give the choice. So it's got to be things like, if you want to get through to speak to Jerry, press 1. If you want to get through to speak to an AI voice agent, immediately press 2. So you can monitor who's potentially want to speak to them. What would be interesting, and again, I've just thought of this, is the age brackets. So people who say, no, I want to speak to a real person. What is the age? I'll bet you it's 40 plus. Anyone who wants to speak to an agent, it'll be 20 to 30, 35, whatever it is. So it's coming. It's just, we're just not there yet.
Yeah. I think it's also evident that as humans, I think we identify these things really quickly. I don't know if it's you, even on, like say, if you get those phone calls from AI, within a few seconds, straight away it's AI. If you see something in your news feed, you go, is that AI? If you read something, Jerry's always going about it. You start reading something, you now see the little things that AI will do, the words and the sort of the way it writes. So the brain,
the capital letters. So again, it's like optimize, finalize, sympathize, whatever's with a Z. But it's like the first hit. It's like every letter has got every word starts with a capital letter.
Here's an example, right? Charlotte's spring school reports come in, and her film shoot was brilliant. I read her summary and thought, I wonder if you've tapped in all the other subject people. And just I was reading it thinking it's very, she's good at this. There was a bit of everything. And I thought, maybe she's gone through it and written it, but I don't know.
Is that AI?
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. All AI, isn't it? Yeah. But AI needs to come up with, like things like there's got to be things that are really annoying that AI is not sorting out. I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head. People.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, look, as AI gets more, it's going to be there. I mean, it does like CapCut now for videos and stuff. Will chop things up, and so marketing and sales and taking off the admin tasks and the boring stuff. AI is good enough at the minute, and it is only going to get better. But I quite like your point about people. I think it'll do a full 360 or 180 rather, where AI will be great. I tell you where I don't think it'll help. The higher mid in the midterm end of the market, because I think a lot of the older generation owns the 1 million, 2 million, 3 million plus houses. You don't get many 21, 22, 23-year-olds. Obviously, tech guys, you probably will. So it's the older generation who I just want to speak to a human. I want to look at the whites of their eyes and negotiate a deal. And I think that's not going to be AI. So I coach a couple of the guys who work in the high end stuff, and they're saying, nobody's interested in it.
Yeah.
It's
interesting. I don't know whether we're all doomed or not. It's going to impact everything, isn't it? It's going to impact, and it is impacting everything.
Yeah, it's medical. It's something like, I was reading an article the other day in looking at cancer diagnosis.
Yeah, but that's the brilliant part of AI. About that, I read the same article about speeding up cancer diagnosis with like a 99.999% accuracy rate. That's
way
brilliant.
before. Way before. There's another one. There's they haven't got it yet, but I had skin cancer a few years ago now, and I've got to go every 6 months. And you get down to your joggers, and he takes, or your duds, and he takes a photograph of you. What they're building now is basically a photo something genic camera that takes a photograph of like Leonardo da Vinci's The Modern Man or whatever it's called, where you stood like that, and it'll take it and it'll overlay the photographs. And it'll look in minute detail, microscopic to every single mole, overlaid over every mole, and does it change color, shape, or size? And then it can pinpoint whereabouts exactly that the doctor should look for further investigation.
That's great, isn't it? Because that's done the donkey work to allow the more, I need to check this, the human to step in and go.
Exactly.
That's the other part of AI that I think a lot of people don't understand, is that the visual side, it can actually, like you say, look at images and look at video and identify things and scan, and I think people forget that, and that's quite a powerful part for agents as well.
You know what, though, Paul? It's going to fall into? It's going to fall into that splitting debate of, where some people go, AI is the best thing ever. AI is terrible. Print marketing is shit. Print marketing is great. That whole digital marketing is the best. Print marketing is the, and just
well, you said
independent, self-employed, employed. Yeah.
Do you think that it will? You said, didn't you, a long time ago, like the out-of-country call centers? You said, will there be companies advertising in the future that say non-AI, no AI? We're a company that's totally.
I do think there will be a movement towards human-made stuff. It's not going to be a big movement. It's going to be, like JP said, the top end of the market or the mid-market. I think there will be some sort of, because if everyone's going to lose their jobs, it's not good, especially for our kids. We'll get away with it because we've got money in the bank. But what about kids? We've all got kids. You've got to think. That's why I'm telling Charlotte, just be a sports person, because an AI can't do football. Not making living that way, love. Do you know what I mean? But
it is a good point. It's not our generation. It's our kids' generation. It's not like when you look at us, we're got 10, 15, 20 years worth of work, and we can kind of muddle on. I think it's the generation directly below us, or maybe the half a generation, like the mid 30-year-olds who aren't tech savvy, don't want to become tech savvy, but they've got 30 years worth of work. They're going to. But then you look at our kids, like Charlotte's age, Jack's age, and Paul's kids' age. They're a bit more. If they get on the bandwagon now, they're going to be fine. Yeah,
but you know what's interesting? I've got a mate wouldn't know ChatGPT if it came up and punched him square in the face. Yeah,
really.
Scaffolder. He said, "What the money? I mean, make mad money as well." He's scaffolding, but he said, like, a robot can't do that.
No.
Again, his point was all this computer nonsense. He was like, "I tell my kids to go and be a plumber, a builder." Do you know, and maybe we'll start seeing a return to that. You know, like apprentices. I remember when I was a kid leaving school, it was an apprenticeship. Go and be an apprentice painter.
Yeah.
Or do you know, or a brickie or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And no one earned good money because there's a shortage. Everyone's gone into this. We had this mad period where everyone had to have a degree. I've got to go to university. No, they don't. I didn't go to I didn't go to university. I didn't go to school.
No.
I used to start doing like degrees afterwards just for shits and giggles, like because I wanted to do it because I was interested in it.
That's because you wanted to. That's the interesting thing about education. I think you know where people go, no, I'd like to do that. I've not found a subject I'd be that interested to sit down and read a book about that.
There's a really good podcast, Diary of a CEO. I mean, most of our viewers will have seen it, and the latest ones with Gary from Gary's Economics and Daniel Priestley, unbelievable. And you know, Gary's saying tax the rich and you know an extra couple of percent or whatever it is, and Priestley saying, well, look, you know, 1% brings in 30%, 10% of the richest people bring in 60%. If they bugger off, and I think the UK has got the most exodus of millionaires per capita in the world. And anyway, both of them though, so there wasn't a huge amount. One was coming from a very kind of like leftist view, and somebody was coming from a right view and a capitalistic view. Fine, fair enough. But what they both did agree on was that the education system didn't teach and prepare people for real life. And I think that's a big thing from a like an apprentice point of view. Apprentices it's frowned upon now. It never used to be. It was a big thing. Oh, I've got my apprentice at like ICI or Vickers or at Nissan or whatever. It was good.
Yeah. It was also entrepreneurs. They said that the system is totally against entrepreneurs when you look at the education that they go through, the way it's presented. And you know, you'd never think about becoming an entrepreneur.
I'll caveat that by saying state school education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where I think this great divide. I'm not getting political, but Labour taxing the VAT on private schools is going to be one of the worst things they've done for a generation. Because everyone's, oh yeah, good, tax the rich. I know a woman, right? Her and her husband have worked their nuts off to send their kid to private school. Got to take her out in September because she can't afford it anymore. So they've had 6 years. It is. It's not. Listen, Eton, Oxford, and I know it's the world's smallest violin, but it's the politics of envy that gets me. Do you know what I mean? This, because I can't have it, you certainly can't have it.
That's them through and through, yeah. That is them through and through.
Maybe a couple of years ago, I would have looked at that state school, the private school tax, and thought, yeah, well, they can all afford it. They can't. They can't.
No, they can't. They can't.
You know, but it was interesting because I saw a lot of estate agents chipping in about a post about it. So their kids are obviously in the private school sector. But I want every kid to have a chance. Do you know what I mean? Have you watched this, going off track a bit, but it's relevant? Have you watched Adolescence yet on Netflix?
No, do you know, I'm putting it off. Is it good?
It's very good. Paul, you watched it, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a line.
It's a line. What line was that?
Because Wendy worked in a state school for ages.
Yeah.
And the guy is in the state school. Ashley Walters is in the state school as his role. And he says it feels like a holding pen. And
yes.
Wendy said, in her experience, she went, oh my God, that is exactly what it feels like. Locks, gates, buzzers, walkie-talkies, da 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 da. Do you know what I mean? It's like, where's the trust?
Do you know Jack's school, who's 15, I think it was, they've got freaking lines on the floor that they've got to follow, like yellow, blue, red. And they've got to follow them, and it takes you to certain parts of the school. And obviously on the left-hand side, so you've got to go that, and then that side. It's literally like 1984. And I kept saying, I think, I mean, look, I don't think anyone, we've even got teachers in our family, and they turn around and go, oh, it's not what it used to be, and it's effed up and all that sort of stuff. I think state school, and I'm sure I read somewhere, it might be conspiracy theory, that it's set up to breed workers, not entrepreneurs, not thinkers, not capitalists, not people who are going to go out and do their own thing. It's literally bred for the working class to go, yes, sir, 3 bags full, sir, we'll do whatever you want, sir.
But the education system in this country, and I think in most industrialized places, were just enough to perform in a factory. Yeah. That's what it was set up to originally, just so you can go, dun, go work in a factory.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? That was its origins, where you see it in the private school system. They're just like told basically everything's possible. No. And obviously the teacher's not going to have a moan up because you go, oh, it's off, I'm paying for this. You know what I mean?
And you've got the good thing about the private school, because I went to a private school, was that you've got very successful people who've been there before. And as we all know, you need someone. You just need the first man in the look at Roger Bannister. Everyone thought 4 Minute Mile was crazy, and I'm sure it was something like the next 4 or 5 years, a dozen people have broke that 4.
Isn't it? It got smashed a bit, that record. Yeah.
You just need one person to be able to do it, like one famous cricketer or a rugby player, one very, an MP or a prime minister. And then Charlotte's going to go there. I'll play for England because Lucy did it 10 years ago, or Susie did it 5 years ago.
Exactly that in her school. A girl called Lola is plays with Chelsea. She's the youngest in the Chelsea's first team squad. She's the star under 17-year-old in the country.
Wow.
She sees her, and I think there's something there where I think what state school and just general kids, and one thing I got from adolescents, especially boys, they need a bit of mentoring. They need they can't be mentored online by Andrew Tates and people like that. They need someone to go, all right, son, do you know what I mean? It's like, but what, it's funny, this guy getting my soapbox. But I said to Wendy said, there needs to be more male mentors. I said, right, Wendy, I'm 52, yeah? If there's a 15-year-old kid and somebody goes, oh, Jerry sees that 15-year-old boy. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And that society, we've got to get, I don't know, there's got to be some reset or somewhere where we've got to help these lads.
If you're not seeing that Ben Shapiro in America talks about it, where there's 3 things guaranteed for you not to be in poverty over in America. Don't have kids out of wedlock, finish school, have a father figure in your life. You do those 3 things, you're pretty much guaranteed not to live below the poverty line, the bread line. This is in America. And there's something, and that's why, and again, I don't want to get political, but in places like Detroit and Chicago, you've got the African Americans, there's a lot of crime and stuff. And you look at it, the majority didn't have father figures. And they turn around and say, oh, it's racial inequality and stuff, and say, right, well, hang on a minute. The world has never been more equal. You can't compare today against the Jim Crow laws of the 50s and 60s. You can't, where there was lynchings, KKK hangings, etc. What has gone up? Why has crime gone up and inequality gone up? And the one correlation is the father figure in the house. The Democrats have made it even easier. It's a bit like our benefit system. They introduced the benefit system, so it made it easy for a single mom to have however many kids and not need a father figure to be able to survive without them. And I think it's a great point. I've gone a bit left field and over in a different country and whatnot. I think it's the father figure. I do think you need that in it to have a
positive. And this is why I think football coaches, just because we're involved in football. Football coach, a good football coach. I know one in Charlotte's team. He's helped the girls, a couple of the girls, through more than just football stuff. He's been there like a father figure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's with boys football the same. A coach. I remember my coach, and you remember from rugby.
To this day, my rugby coach.
Do you know what I mean? And they're like, we need these people. That's why. Yeah, I don't know. A bit depressed.
How did we get on this from property AI and football coaches in America and father figures?
We just strip out the property. We don't talk. We just talk. 3 blokes talking as if they're in
the pub.
Yeah. Need a pint now.
Yeah, you do. We do.
Right. I think on that note, I think that's plenty of time. We're at the 30-minute mark, gone past the 30-minute mark. So
on that 3 hours, this could have been a Joe Rogan length podcast.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, John.
See you later, guys.
Very soon. Thanks, everyone.